You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle podcast, episode 61, the Carlisle Chrysler Nationals pre-show.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today, ride along as the Cars of Carlisle team heads over the mountain to Perry County to hang with winning race driver Bill Powell. From Bill's garage, listen as the guys do a walkaround of the dirt track racer and hear how Bill has torn up local and regional tracks like Port Royal Speedway, faced many victories and a host of championships, namely in the Pro Stock division. Grab your earplugs and get ready for some dirt track racing. So let's get revved up.
Hello, Cubers, and welcome back to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren, and so glad to have you with us this week. We are going to get into an interview that Scott and I had with a local racer here in the central Pennsylvania area, a gentleman by the name of Bill Powell. He lives over the mountain here from Carlisle in Millerstown, Pennsylvania, and it's in the neighboring county of Perry County. Talked with him in his garage. What a very great guy. Just extremely down to earth. He's been in the dirt track racing world for about 25 years. He has 100 plus feature wins, 9 championships. An extremely knowledgeable guy. Wrenches, knows his way around racing. And this interview is focused on talking with him. And just last Saturday, Scott, his dad, and I to Path Valley Raceway, and we hung out for the evening. And Bill happened to be in Florida and wasn't racing that particular night. But really, dirt track racing is extremely big in the central Pennsylvania area. So let's go to that interview. But before we head to Millerstown, Pennsylvania, and hang out in the garage with Mr. Powell, let's have this week's episode 61, Cars of Carlisle trivia question. Cubers, let's have that trivia question for this week's episode 61. Question is this: in the United States presently, how many operational dirt oval tracks are there in existence? We'll make it a multiple choice. A, 58. B, 271. C, 469. D, 700. Answer coming up at the end of the show. Stay tuned. Cubers, this is Darren from Cars of Carlisle, and I am with you tonight. We are in Millerstown, Pennsylvania, which is in Perry County, north of Carlisle, and I am at the home and garage of a new friend, Bill Powell. He is a local guy who's been dirt track racing for
25 years.
25 years. Has had about 100 plus feature wins as well as 9 championships over the years. And Scott came along. We've been having a great time hanging out in your garage. So, Bill, thanks so much.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys over here, and it's really nice to be able to reminisce a little bit about over the years and how things have gone.
Well, how'd you get? This is a question that I tend to ask a lot, but how do you get into this? I mean, what started it for you?
Well, my dad actually sponsored a dirt late model back in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid. We went to the races a lot, and so I had the bug from back, when I was little, and then actually when I got out of the service, a friend of mine was doing this type of a deal, and I started to help him a little bit, and when he got out of it, I kind of bought him out, and 25 years later, here we are. So. Yep. And
you've always been wrenching, always been good as far as from a mechanic.
Yeah. I either for 20 years I either mechanicked or was a service manager or whatever. It wasn't until just recently that I started to work at PennDOT. So I got a lot of mechanical background, and for something like this, it definitely helps. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, we met your wife, Steph. Great.
Yep.
She was telling us about how she helps get the car off the trailer. She gets your helmet ready, the transponder.
Yep.
She checks the tire pressure. Do you have anybody else part of your crew?
Yeah, and that's funny how that works. When we were all younger and not married, no kids, there was lots of guys, and we'd hang out here about every evening. And there's still a few that come to the races, and I think just to do something different, but it seems like it gets less and less, from year to year.
Sure. Now, how did Steph get into it? By marriage to you? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Before she met me, I think she might have been like to Williams Grove to watch like one time or something, and but now it's in her blood, and where she's all eager to go and rip into this stuff, and I'm thinking, let's just think about this a little bit here,
right.
and where it's all fresh and new to her, and and I'm getting old and gray and wore out, and and she's ready to go.
Well, how many years has she been crew chief for you?
I guess this year be 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. And she's into it, and
well, keeps it alive for you.
Yeah. She's definitely my biggest supporter. My mom and dad are really into it. I probably would have maybe given it up, years ago. But definitely my dad. He's a big supporter, and he really enjoys coming.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, some of the local tracks, a lot of our listeners are outside of Pennsylvania. In fact, we have them all across the U.S., some outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
But what are some of for those that know the area, what are some of the tracks that you will hit on a given?
Well, we've raced over the years. We've raced Port Royal primarily, Sealands Grove, Path Valley, Susquehanna, Hagerstown. We have raced, and we actually won a race down at Williams Grove. Used to have stock cars at one point. But primarily, probably on a given weekend, like Port Royal or Susquehanna, which is now BAPS or whatever, or even Hagerstown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about the podcast is we have people that are motorcycle enthusiasts, those that are drag racers, those that like exotics. We cover everything. If it has a motor, and it goes, we love it. And I know we were talking earlier about your Skidoo and now Polaris, and you're a snowmobiler and that kind of thing, and I think that's great, tearing apart the engines and everything like those. But for those that are maybe unaware, can you tell us a little bit about what goes in dirt oval racing as far as the sprint versus sportsman versus late model? Just kind of some classes and some background for those that may not be as familiar with it.
Well, I mean, the stuff that I run started off as basically you took something that was on the street, Camaro, Monte Carlo, Mustang, whatever, and then took that and modified
Stripped
it,
down,
right, and tried to make it as lightweight as possible. Well, if you didn't notice, there's very few old, 70s, 80s, cars left on the road, rear-wheel drive stuff.
You can't
so
afford
now,
them for this. Yeah.
So what you got now, you kind of start off with a chassis and aluminum body, and which is similar to what the late models run now, and then even the suspension and stuff, the technology for what's available to us now. Where it's crazy. Where you have rated springs. If you want to change your setup, you change the rate of a spring or jack weight or whatever. It has gotten
add wedge and everything.
Yeah, it has gotten very technical. And the shocks. Oh my gosh! I got hooked up with a new shock guy last year, and he put me on these Bilsteins, which is a gas shock, and just blows your mind the way you can
the adjustability.
Way you can change your setup with this set of shocks. So
now, you have to be able to do your own engineering and everything. So will you go out and do a couple laps, and then you'll know what you need to do to?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And then I kind of know. I have scales, metric scale, or a set of electronic scales.
Okay.
And I pretty much know I've been doing it long enough for the car to feel the way I want. I know what numbers or percentages I need to see on the scales, and it get me real close.
Okay.
Last year we built a new car, and we didn't get to test. It kept raining and raining, so we actually went to Port Royal the first race, and I had no seat time at all, and we went over and won. And the car was probably I don't know, say probably 90% straight out of the garage. So
Okay.
I mean, we had it pretty close. So yeah.
Testament to the fact that you guys were able to go out and do it, and I think your driving experience and everything else. You've been doing it a long time. You know what to expect and how to do it. What's something that you'd want to share with Scott and me, that the fans of the podcast, of strapping into one of these on a Friday or Saturday night? And I mean, it's got to be under the lights, and it's got to be a lot of energy going.
Yeah, it's still fun. I mean, it still gets the adrenaline going. I don't get the butterflies in the stomach the way I used to it. But it's definitely. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't think what form of racing you're in, or what whether it's drifting or whatever. It's hearing the noise of the engine and the smells and everything. It definitely gets you going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any bad wrecks or anything along the?
Oh, I've been upside down a couple of times. Yeah.
But that's where your roll cage comes in.
Yeah. Once at Port Royal, and then once at Sealands Grove. That was an end over end, and had to climb out on your hands and knees out that side.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was a good one. Yeah. But I mean, you're strapped in, and the safety equipment. You're probably safer in this than driving down the road, on a 2-lane road.
Right.
Where,
Just the reinforced chassis and frame.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, that car there that was end over end, we replaced the roof and a couple body panels, and we were back racing.
Same night?
The next night.
Oh, okay.
The next weekend, yeah.
Okay,
But yeah, it was, I mean, so, yeah.
Now, do you have a template you have to follow that you have to, like, let's say that you were to replace the hood and the roof, do you have to have a certain template like you do in NASCAR?
No.
Restrictions or anything?
No, we have a width. The body can be no wider than a certain, I don't remember what the width is. Okay. And then our spoiler can't be no higher than 5 inches. There's a few things. Our sail panels, they give you a width or a dimension at the top and a dimension at the bottom. A few things like that. But no, pretty much they leave you be.
And mechanically, or you have to stay within a certain boundary, cubic inch wise? Or
355.
355.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you been able to bore out or do other things to kind of maximize that, or what do you do?
Yeah, Phil Miller, Miller's Racing Engines, does our engines, and he's been doing it for a long time. And I mean, there again, after you're around it for enough years, you know what works good with what combination, and we're usually not lacking for power. We do all right. Yeah.
Well,
you can't share the secrets.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's the special sauce.
Yeah.
That was the vague answer.
Yeah. Miller Racing, we're not gonna give anything away on that. Are there other experiences or other things you'd want to share that, again, for those that don't have a chance or haven't gone to a dirt oval, I mean, that's unique to the sport?
Yeah, it's definitely, if you've never been there, a small track like Path Valley, where you can be right on top of things and see the whole track. It's definitely something to see when the wingless sportsmen are up there, or even the dirt late models. It's definitely something to see, or just the sheer speed of going to to Port Royal, with a 410 sprint car or a super late model. You're talking 900 horsepower. So I mean, it's pretty incredible.
And you're in a very tight. It's at what, 8th mile?
Path Valley is a quarter, and Port Royal is a half mile.
Half mile. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they're really moving. Yeah.
No, I know. Obviously, in a race car, you don't have. But what do you get up to? Let's say on a back straight.
Yeah, we're right before we go into the turn, right around 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going in sideways, essentially.
Yeah. So we're doing 100 on dirt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For fun. Yeah.
In a short period of
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what when the wife gets a little tense about driving down, 322 at 75. It's like, this is nothing,
Sunday stroll.
Yeah. We're doing 100 and rubbing fenders, on dirt, and
three abreast.
Yeah, for fun.
It's pretty interesting. If you're going that fast all the time and you've only had it on its roof a couple of times, that's pretty good odds, actually.
Well, and I don't want
good driving.
Yeah, I want to jinx myself, but the wrecks were early on in the career. So we've been with the gray hair comes a little bit more wisdom, and
Sure.
when to stick your nose in a hole and when not to.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about in the racing community? Obviously, you're a car guy. I mean, you're a motorhead like all of us. But there's something special about the people side of things.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, talk a little bit about the camaraderie and over those 25 years,
Yeah.
the community you've built.
Yeah, some of my best friends I've met at the races, and have kept that relationship, over the years. And that's one thing about racers. If you're at the track and you need something, or something breaks, you can, a lot of times you can rely on the other guys. And I've went where it was just Steph and I, and didn't have a pit crew. And if you get a flat tire or whatever, hey, they're more willing to help you out.
That's really...
And there's many good guys. There's always that guy.
Every bucket has a bad apple.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's a lot of good camaraderie, and a lot of good times.
That's good to hear. And
Close community, yeah.
Exactly. And I think too that we saw it covering drifting and some other things. It's when you're out there, sure, it's competitive, but all the time leading up to it until you roll them up on the trailer, it's a bunch of friends doing all the same things together, and nobody's really out for blood. I mean, you want to do your best. You want to see the next guy do their best. You don't really want, you don't wish ill on somebody.
Nope.
And that's the camaraderie of it.
Absolutely.
And we've even seen it too, regardless of people's loyalty to someone or a certain driver. If there's an accident or something, I mean, there's complete concern.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's another human being. You don't you
Yeah.
don't want something bad to happen. That's very cool. Now, do you think you'll stay in it for
I don't know.
another
I
10
don't know.
years? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm thinking I'm closer to the end than the middle or the beginning.
So will Steph start where you left off?
Yeah.
Sounds like she's gonna want to put the helmet on. You're just gonna take the bill right off there and put Steph Powell on it.
We've had a lot of fun and a lot of success, but we went from racing 30 some shows in a season to kind of like 15 shows till this past year. I think we only ran 7 shows. So I know we're definitely gearing back, and it doesn't bother me as much as what it used to if we only got to run 7 shows.
Yeah.
But who knows? But if someone said, well, you can't race anymore, then I'd probably miss it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now I have friends that race down at Susquehanna, down in York County.
Yes.
And so I've been down the last 3 weeks to help him, and the fellow that bought my other car, he's going to race Port Royal this weekend, so I'll definitely be there. So I haven't missed any races.
Yeah.
I haven't been there
in
the car. So, but,
Well, we'd like to. Of course, we'll be emailing you and what have you. But if there's a chance, would we even be able to come down and stand with Steph during
absolutely, yeah, yeah, it sounds like fun, yeah.
If you don't mind.
Did you talk about at the beginning that I might have missed about your accomplishments with different wins and things like that?
I think it's worth, and Scott's awesome with this editing part, but you're not bragging. I think it's good to say how many features you've won and all that.
Well, like I said, we have been very fortunate, and it's been definitely a team effort from the guys that have helped me over the years to some of the financial backing from my dad and the sponsors and all that. But yeah, we actually got our 100th win not this past season, the season before, down at Susquehanna. I'd never won Susquehanna, and it was funny that we ended up getting my 100th win at a track that I'd never won before. So that was pretty cool.
That's
and then we've, like I said, we've won 2 different tracks in one weekend. We've won back-to-back nights at 2 different tracks. We've, like I said, we've had a really good career. We've won a bunch of different tracks, even if it was just one race at some of the tracks. But
that's the fun of it.
Yeah, but so I think this year I'm going to try to hit some tracks that I've never raced at before.
Well, it seems like your luck holds out with that.
Yeah. But
so that's the key.
Yeah, we've won, like I said, 9 championships at 2 different tracks, 7 at Port Royal, and different cars in different classes, and then 2 at Path Valley.
Wow.
So yeah, we've had a lot of fun. Path Valley, we had a lot of success. We won 45 races in 4 seasons out there.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have pictures of this car on Instagram and Facebook, but this is for the listeners. This is what class?
They call this extreme stocks at Port Royal.
Okay.
Some tracks they call them super stocks. Some tracks they call them street stocks. It just depends where you go. It still started off as some type of a stock car chassis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, now I'm all pumped up thinking about finding a weekend where we can go.
Yeah.
Definitely fun.
Hang out down in the pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's fun. I mean, you said about being in it and feeling and the smells and everything like that. But it's some of these tracks, even like Susquehanna and everything, you're going to feel it and you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
You can feel that rumble in your sternum.
And the dust.
Yeah. The dust, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, your dad's a huge fan. He's who got me into this years ago. I had never been to a race until hanging out with you guys. So
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Very cool. Anything that you want to mention for the sponsors, or just a shout out to to the guys that have helped back you? I mean, this is kind of, we'll let you close it out if you want.
Yeah, no. I mean, some of the sponsors have been with me a long time. Capital Tool Machine, they've been with me since way back. The American Legion came on, and Newport came on a couple years ago there, and they've been a really good sponsor. Perry Collision had been Cockrell's Auto Body over in Mechanicsburg, and he recently moved to New Bloomfield and started Perry Collision. Lucas Duncan, he's been a great sponsor. And then Highway Mobile, that's my uncle. He's been with me since way back at the beginning.
He knows you.
Yeah. And then Feder and Son Trucking, Tim also races, and then he started helping me a little bit back years ago. And then Miller's Racing Engines, Phil and I have been together since pretty much the beginning, and had a lot of fun together and won a lot of races, and became really good friends over the years as well. So it's been a journey.
Well, it sounds to me like if you had your last race last weekend, which you didn't obviously, but hypothetically, you've built such a great group of friends and everything like that. You came out of this better than going in. Essentially.
Yeah. If something, whatever. If physically I couldn't do it anymore or whatever, I have no regrets. We've had a great time of it, and a good career. It was a good time.
Well, you've been very good behind the wheel. You've won a lot of races, and the fact too is you've had an experience that even car nuts like us can't say that we've done. Not everybody gets to be a race car driver.
It's something that some of the cars that we've built, I built right here in this garage from nothing, and where it was started off with a bare piece of steel and built the chassis, bolted everything to it, and then took it and raced it and won with it. I think that's just as satisfying as winning some of the races.
Yeah.
So,
well, the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
You started in it for fun, and it just became a huge success.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep. But I'm definitely no Jimmy Johnson or whatever. But for somebody with the amount of money and the resources we have, I think we've done pretty well.
Well, it sure sounds like
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for welcoming us over here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Into your garage.
Yep.
And sincerely, to Cubers out there, we'll talk to Bill here in his episode. If you're hearing this now, the interview will have been probably 6 weeks prior to air date, but we will do our best to try and find a weekend where we can spend some time down in the pits.
Yep,
Help
sounds
out.
good. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Phil, thank you so much.
Yep, I appreciate.
Well, we're back over the mountain from Perry County here at the Carlisle Studio. Hope you enjoyed listening to Bill Powell. Really great guy. Hope to catch him at upcoming dirt track races later this summer. So, the answer to today's trivia question is, well, let me pause right there and reiterate the question. How many dirt oval tracks are there in the United States? Answer is, Wiki Research has said approximately 700 dirt tracks, oval tracks in operation presently. So hopefully you had the right answer with option D on that multiple choice. To start the Rally North America 2019, Scott as my navigator and co-driver, we are set and ready, getting final tweaks and tunes to the Corvette and getting packed, set for this big 4 days on the road. We're going to have lots of Instagram stories running for you. We'll be on 2 tracks, 1 drag strip, Watkins Glen road course, along with some amazing back road driving up to the tip of Maine, all throughout New England. So stick with us. We'll be sure to share all the fun from the road with the other 84 teams, and lots coming up on that. So can't wait to see you back next week. Join us again Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. If you are a subscriber to Cars of Carlisle, which we highly recommend, and 5-star ratings, always appreciated. That way you'll be the first to have the podcast when it's published every Tuesday night late. It'll be automatically pushed to your queue. That saves you some time. You don't have to do it manually on Wednesday morning. So it's free. Why not? So go ahead and subscribe to Cars of Carlisle. We would love to have that rating and review. And thank you so much for being a cuber. So for now, I'll say drive well, be well, and take care.